Hey guys, time to review another movie, and today we're reviewing another horror movie called The Gate. This one was an 80s movie, and I really like the steelbook. I know I showed this off a few months ago, or however long ago it was, but I really like the cover. I like the purple, black, two-tone style for it. The bag's got that neat poster too. It's kind of got those creatures. And with this movie, it was pretty cool because I didn't know what to expect from it. I actually knew nothing about it going into it, which sometimes is the best way to do it. So in this movie, you have essentially three main characters. You have Glenn, Terry, and Al. Glenn and Al are brother and sisters, and Terry is Glenn's friend. So you really have three characters for this movie. And how it starts off is Glenn sort of, whatever he did, there's this hole in the backyard that his parents forced him to clean up. They're going out of town. Al has to watch over Glenn and often his friend Terry when he comes over. Glenn and Terry are pretty young, and Al's a teenager. So this is the group you have for the movie. In this movie, Al is told not to throw a party. She does. Typical horror movie, typical teenagers. And so you get some extras. So there are more characters around. They're not really named. They're not really important for the movie. They're just sort of background. And what ends up happening is Glenn and Terry found a geode. And this geode is connected to the hole, which is actually a gate to hell. So demons are coming through. And demons are the main villains for this movie. Now, what's interesting is most horror movies, when there's a demon, it's either they're possessing someone, it's usually black smoke, it's usually this very demonic looking form for them. But in this movie, you actually have the demons are these guys right here. These are the demons. So they're just little creatures, and they're about, well, I'm a short guy, so my height doesn't really count. The demons would be as tall as someone's knee. So they're pretty small. And there are a couple forms they take where the demons will all climb together and they could take the persona to form a person. But the demons themselves are really small. So it's just sort of this goofy little take on it. It's interesting, something different, something irregular. And it makes it sort of stand out as an original. So, of course, for the movie, they're trying to figure out how to close this gate to hell so the demons will go away and stop terrorizing them. This is essentially a one-location place. It all takes place at their house. There are a couple shots that take place elsewhere, but most of it takes place at the house. So, you got an 80s movie, one location, a small handful of characters, and demons, just not your typical demons. So, it was an interesting movie. Its climax is pretty cool because as the gate is opening, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. These demons form a couple different humanoid forms, and they actually take his friend Terry and take his sister Al, take them presumably down to hell. So Glenn is left on his own, defend for himself against these horde of demons. And it's almost sort of this climactic ending where the bigger the hole gets, there's this sort of twister up toward the sky, and it's covering the sky. So it's just really intense. It's a pretty intense ending. And as Glenn gets closer and closer to figuring out how to close this gate to hell, which in 80s style is on a record album, that someone had these words in Latin that if you play the record backwards a certain way, then it opens or closes the gate to hell. So when Glenn is getting closer, figuring out how, it's a climactic ending where he gets sort of the showdown with the big demon. So the big demon, we got these little guys are the demons. But this one up here, he's the main one. And as you can see in this hole on the cover, he's much bigger. He's as big as a house. It's like 6 arms, 4 eyes. Kind of the scary looking thing. It's a beast. Scary looking thing. And as he's growing, he's becoming more and more of a threat. Glenn is getting really, really close. There's some close calls where he almost didn't make it, where he loses the sort of gadgets and supplies he has to try to close this gate. And ultimately, it does have a happy ending. The gate does get closed. He gets his friend and sister back, and the demons all are shut back down in hell. Overall, it was interesting. I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know anything going into it before I'd seen it. and I was pleasantly surprised. There's not a lot of movies, or horror movies really, where kids are the main characters. There are some, but most of them don't have kids as main characters. So that was something different. Kind of this fresh script. Obviously, kids will have different dialogue than older characters, so it kind of helped it feel different as well. So overall, I liked it. If you want just sort of this typical 80s horror movie that may not be the greatest looking movie, but just something fun, I'd recommend it. I thought it was cool. It's a neat watch, and this is just one of the horror movies that I own, I hadn't seen, that I was trying to knock down my haven't seen it list. So there it is. I liked it. If you guys heard something about it, check it out. See it for yourself. Thanks for watching.